Welcome to Hampton Inn. Do you have a reservation?
No.
Mavis Gary. Is that a dog in your bag?
Nope.
We actually allow small pets with a cleaning deposit.
Good. Good, because I have a small dog in my vehicle.
I'll put that you have a dog. How many keys do you need?
2, please.
Expecting company?
And they talk about, oh, you should review 50 movies a year. I think I do that, but you know, it's hard sometimes to think, did you really write 50 reviews in 1 year? And yeah, you did.
This year I'm going to be somewhere around 75 or 80.
I would think so, yeah. I would definitely think so. Well, as we chat about how many movies we've seen this year, I'm sure that you guys just love that.
That was a cheesy, so, oh, hi.
You know, and it's appropriate that tonight we saw a movie about a writer. It's a movie called Young Adult. It's Jason Reitman's new movie, and Reitman, of course, the last movie he gave us was Up in the Air, the ill-fated George Clooney film that everybody thought was going to win Best Picture, and then it just came away with really very little.
I thought it was cheated at. You know, maybe it shouldn't have beat out King's Speech, but I thought it got overlooked a bit too much.
Yeah. Well, when I saw Up in the Air, I thought, well, this is it. Yeah. I mean, Reitman really knows what he's doing, and you know, it's interesting because I sort of have a Reitman connection. My short film, the Linkletter Project, Reitman is one of our subjects, right. And he gives us some of the best insight into what Richard Linkletter meant to him, which you know is good. So he's a student of the movies, as are we.
Very much so, and we're both Reitman fans.
Oh, sure.
I actually had I was looking forward to this one very much. Do you think it lived up?
Well, I think that there are moments here that are very promising, but overall I just don't think it hangs together. But let's tell you what Young Adult is about. This is the reuniting of Diablo Cody and Jason Reitman from their Oscar-winning and nominated turn with Juno to something called Young Adult, starring Charlize Theron. That's right, Charlize Theron. Now, I joked before we went into this that this is the sequel to Monster. Of course, Charlize Theron, she won the Oscar for Monster, but I think I was pretty close. I mean, if this character that Charlize Theron plays in this movie is a monster.
She's a mess, is what she is. I mean, the really fun part is you're introduced to this character and the kind of writer she is. She is a ghost writer for a series that somebody else created. It's, you know, they have her doing voiceover of some of the book that she's working on. You know, the last entry in this whole series that has sort of made her a career. And it's the worst possible young adult fiction for women. You know, the character is completely
Twilight, worse,
wrapped up in herself, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. Well, so is Charlize Theron's character. And so you're introduced to her, and she lives alone in Minneapolis. She's an alcoholic. You know, she wakes up, and the first thing she does is swig about a half a 2-liter of Coke, you know.
Yeah, she's all prepared. It's like she's totally prepared for the hangover. You know, her solution, I don't know if it works, is Diet Coke. You know, I'm going to have to try it.
Yeah, next time. Yeah. Well, in either way, you know, she's one of those characters that from a distance, she may look like she's doing quite well. You know, apartment in the city, steady work on, you know, as a writer and those sorts of things. But you take a closer look and her life is just empty. And so I kept thinking of, she has a role in Arrested Development. And I kept thinking, you know, this character is sort of in Arrested Development.
Wow,
she goes back to her hometown, Mercury, Minnesota.
That would be the clinical term, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, she goes back and she tries to win back her old high school flame, played by Patrick Wilson. But he's married and has an infant daughter. He's completely happy, living a nice, conventional little life. And she's so deluded, she thinks she's going to pull him out of it. And so she runs into another high school friend.
She's going to wreck his marriage.
Yeah, she really does.
And she's going to bring him back with her as like a token to live with her in her messy apartment in the city. Yeah. The mini apple, which they sort of refer to it quaintly, and she finds that so objectionable, which is, of course, Minneapolis, but it's like... Well, you know.
And so that's our main character's goal. And so obviously this is a weird movie. This is a really strange tone. It's completely ironic, and the only person who doesn't seem to realize how ironic her whole life is the character. You know, she has no sort of self-awareness of how sad she really is and how depressed she really is. And amazingly, a lot of times they play that scenario for comedy.
Well, and I think this is what happens when you really believe in Diablo Cody speak, and you let this screenwriter just run amok. Because the character, I have no idea.
In a good way or a bad way?
Well, no, I think in a bad way. I think that her first, home run that she hit with Juno couldn't get too dark because it was about kids in high school. Yeah. It couldn't go that way, and it was soft and sweet. And I don't know if there was some changes to her script that were made to make it softer and sweeter and not as dark. But this now is about an adult.
Can I help you find something?
I'm going to a rock concert with an old flame.
Let's show him what he's been missing.
No, he's seen me recently. He knows. But his wife hasn't seen me in a while, so...
Okay, who is still playing young, because the whole thing here is she's never, ever gotten over her younger high school and then college experiences, and she thinks that she has lost the one true love, Patrick Wilson. I think that she believes it. She's convinced herself that that is the solution to this pain and uncertainty and everything that's in her life. And there's plenty of people that feel that way. The problem is that everybody in the movie, just about everybody, is so self-aware of their problems and that everybody has problems that everybody is so tweaked, no one is normal. Maybe your parents, her mother's played by Jill Eikenberry, maybe your parents are normal, but no one is normal. This is a parallel universe kind of movie.
I don't agree at all. I think Patrick Wilson and his wife are completely normal people. I think Patton
There's no way that Patrick Wilson would have let this evil person back into her life. I think he has a child. Well, I mean, maybe that's a punchline in the movie, and it was an epiphany. But then the movie goes another way. I mean, every time you think it's going to do something that will work, it goes either too far or it goes another way. I mean, I was pretty frustrated by it, to be honest.
I don't know. I just think it's a very strange comic tone. You really do, watch this character and just think, oh, stop. It's a train wreck, but you can't look away.
Oh, it is.
And it ends up being funny to me. And
I laughed.
I think they explain why Patrick Wilson sort of humored her and met with her a little bit. The thing that holds it all together is Patton Oswalt plays another high school friend, and he has this really tragic event in his past. He's beaten up when he was still a high school kid by a bunch of jocks. That's what the movie says, and he's permanently. He walks with a cane, and so he sort of carries around a very physical, very painful scar of this traumatic event. Well, here you have this Charlize Theron character who basically has convinced herself she's had it so bad. Well, along comes Patton Oswalt's character to sort of, he's the voice of reason in the whole film.
He is. He's the chorus,
and he anchors
in this
everything.
Greek tragedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I really enjoyed it.
And his character works. Every time his character's in there, I am glued.
And oddly enough, those two end up making sense as friends as the movie.
Oh,
I think it
so.
develops and it totally makes sense. People who literally didn't speak to each other, and the kinds of characters who wouldn't speak to each other in high school, and yet they click in the situations they're in. I liked it right up until the end. I think personally, I think it's very enjoyable. It's a very strange and original kind of comedy, but then it kind of deflates us at the end. And so I think it's going to have trouble finding an audience.
Yeah, I think it will too. I mean, obviously Charlize Theron has some bankability, and people who have already been enchanted by Jason Reitman, I think, have it. But the irony of I guess this year is that we have a very positive movie, The Descendants. I took it away very positively, written by someone who often doesn't let us off the hook, is very, very negative and has a very cynical view of life in Alexander Payne. And then we have Diablo Cody, who gave us a very positive movie with Juno, and now we get this kind of nihilistic view of the world. Like I just didn't really get it. I thought I don't know why people would want to see that, and why anyone would say this is the story we want to spend millions of dollars and put Charlize Theron in to tell. That was my problem. Now, as far as everything else, it's very well done. Charlize Theron is excellent. It's humorous, but ultimately, it's like very unsatisfying.
Well, it's very, it's ironic throughout, and so I thought the movie kind of gave us a wink at times, and we're all sort of in on the joke. You know, but here's another thing to remember. What was was it Protect and Serve or something like that?
Oh yeah, Observe and Report.
Observe and Report.
Yeah, totally.
The Seth Rogen movie, it's very much like that.
It is.
We really are looking at a character who's completely deluded, and that is the basis of much of the comedy. And so, you know, it's not quite as dark as that movie, actually.
Now, okay, I begin to understand, and this is why it is good that we have these discussions, and then we go away and we write our reviews after. But of course, discussions are on video and on television. But there is a point in the movie where Charlize Theron's character looks at someone and says, "Don't you understand? Everything turns out great in the end. Haven't you seen The Graduate?" I mean, what?
That's the joke.
I mean, come on.
That's one of those moments. That's one of those moments where the movie winks at us and lets us know she's completely, you know, gone to lunch.
So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't know why anyone would really want to suffer through this to get to that ending. I guess fix or no fix?
I'm gonna, you know what? Because I know you're gonna give it a no fix.
I'm gonna
say I did get my fix from young adult, and I think it's a narrow audience, but I think there is an audience.
I'm certainly on the edge. There are good things and there are bad things, but I think on the whole this movie is a miss. So I'm going to give it a no fix. Yeah. All right. Well, you want to send us out, or I've been doing it for weeks now. Yeah.
Well, you've been watching the Film Fix, whether on your TV or on your computer. That's what you're watching. And so if you're on your TV, you can find us at dailyfilmfix.com. on Facebook, we're on the web, look us up. I'm Jeff Marker. Pleasure to be here with Jonathan W. Hickman. Keep watching because we have lots to talk about before the end of the year.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of films to see. And I think it was pretty good, but you didn't say where you could feed your movie addiction. You need to get our tagline. People remember that stuff.